Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jag, and in today's class we're going to cover Math 10. These are some really important topics, and it is covered in the Analytic Geometry unit, okay, for Math 10. We're going to go through the length of a line segment as well as the midpoint of a line segment. So I decided to put both of these topics together as there are some simple formulas. And again, you should make sure that you are memorizing all of these formulas. That way you can apply it all the time. Most teachers do not provide these formulas for a unit test or the final exam. Alright, so with that, let's get started. Again, we're just going to take some examples from the textbook here. Okay, I'm going to write out the formula for the length, okay, of a line segment. Okay, I'm going to put AB, so we'll just use points A and B. Okay, it's going to be the square root of x2 minus x1 whole squared, okay, plus the y2 minus y1, and you're gonna whole square it. Okay, so just like this. All right, now let's try an example here. Okay, so say I have 2 points. Okay, so let's use points A and B. So point A is going to be 6 and -2, okay, and then point B is going to be -3 and 5. So you can notice right here that I am just putting in some negative signs, okay, just to show you how it would play out in the actual formula. Okay, and most questions will just ask you to find the distance, okay, between points A and B. Okay, so this is how you're doing it through analytic geometry. All right, so if you're doing points AB, so again I'm going to write AB. Okay, I'm going to, first off, actually, let's write out the labeling here. So x1, y1 for the first point, and the second point is x2, y2. Okay, so just like this. Okay, I'm going to put the square root, and now we're going to just plug it into this formula. Okay, so here I can see that x2 is -3, okay, minus x1, which is 6, and then I'm going to square it. All right. Again, make sure you're watching the signs. If there are 2 negatives, it becomes positive here, okay? And the second one is going to be y2, so 5 minus, and y1 here is -2. Okay, I'm going to double bracket that and squared, okay? So in this case, I'm going to write out basically one more step here, okay? So we're doing -3 minus 6, which is -9 squared, okay? And in the second bracket, it's actually 5 plus 2, so 7 squared. Okay, so just like this. Again, make sure you have your calculator handy, okay? Because we notice that we have to take the square root at the end, okay? So I'm going to put equals. 9 squared is 81, and 7 squared is 49. Okay, so we're going to add that together, and it's going to be the square root of 130. I'm pressing the square root sign on my calculator, and we are getting 11.4, okay? And 11.4 is basically just like the number of units, okay? If a question is an application question, it might give you the units maybe in kilometers or meters, and that's the only time I can put in the units there, okay? So if there are no units, you could just write 11.4. Let's write units. Okay, and this is the distance between points A and B. Are there any questions? All right, that looks good. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the midpoint, okay, of a line. So I'm going to just take this off. And again, it's basically a very simple formula. And I'm going to write down the formula here. This time when you show the midpoint, it has to be denoted with a capital M, okay? In brackets, I'm putting x1 plus x2 divided by 2, okay? And the second point is y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Okay, and again, let's try an example here, and we're going to just find the midpoint between, say, points A is 2 and 7, okay, and point B is 5 and 3. Okay, so I'm not going to put any negative signs here, but again, if there is a negative, you're just going to incorporate that into the formula. Okay, so for now, let's just keep it simple. When I put capital M, right beside it, I'm putting AB. Okay, so this means it's the midpoint of AB. Okay, so we're gonna label our points. So x1, y1 for the first point. Okay, And then x2, y2 is for the second point. I would always make sure I'm labeling my points before I put it into any formula. That way you don't mix up any of the numbers, okay? Then you might end up with the wrong answer. So we're going to add our x components. So I'm doing 2 plus 5 divided by 2. And then you're just going to add the y components together. So 7 plus 3 divided by 2. Okay, so just like this. Okay, I'm going to put the equal sign going across here. Okay, so you are adding these numbers together. So I'm doing 5 plus 2. So this is 7 over 2. Okay, and the y component is 7 plus 3, which is 10 divided by 2, which is equal to 5. Okay, and again, so depending again on your teacher, I can actually change this to 3.5 and 5. Okay, so I can actually do the 7 over 2, okay, which is equal to 3.5. I don't actually have to change that into a decimal. Okay, the only time I would change it into the decimal when it's a fraction is if I'm actually graphing out this line to show you where that midpoint is on the Cartesian plane. Okay, other than that, I can even just leave it as a fraction. Okay, teachers will not take off a mark for that, but make sure again you double check with your teacher how they want you to put your final answer. All right, so that brings this video to an end, and what we covered today again was grade 10 math, both the length and the midpoint of a line segment. Okay, again, this is in the analytic geometry section for math 9. These are very important formulas, and as we move on to the next content in grade 10 math, I have to make sure I actually remember these formulas and I know how to apply them. Some of the questions do get a little bit harder, and we are going to make sure that we go through those questions together. All right, so thank you for watching this video, and I hope everyone learned something. Please make sure you're subscribing to my channel and click on the like button below, and I will see everyone in the next video. Thanks, bye.